Hey everyone, I see one person on. Good evening, good evening. We're here just a tad bit early this evening. I am covering for Reverend Chris, Shelf Discovery. So I'm just waiting for people to join us. We usually start at 6 p.m. So if you are just joining right now, feel free to put something in the chat. Where are you watching from? Um, what is your favorite spiritual book? Get to know each other in the chat. Shelf Discovery is all about interaction, and we are talking about the Seven Spiritual Laws of Success tonight by Deepak Chopra. Reverend Chris has been talking about this book for the past couple of weeks, and we're actually in the last chapter tonight, and he asked me to cover while he's away. So here we are. Like I said, I'm just waiting for some more people to join. Glenn is joining us from Canada. Hi, Glenn. Good to see you. I am reporting from sunny and hot Miami. I'm sorry, not Miami, Fort Lauderdale, but South Florida, same thing. So again, chat it up in the chat. Charmaine, hey, she says, good evening. Home sermon on the mountain. Hey, Cindy Binder, good to see you. So my name is Jason Weeks. I'm a staff member at Unity on the Bay. I've been a staff member for 8 or 9 years now. Usually I tune into Shelf Discovery when Reverend Chris is doing it and heckle him a little bit from from the comments. So hopefully he doesn't chime in tonight and do the same to me. So if you're joining us for the first time, we are going to talk about this book, the last chapter of this book tonight. It's called The Seven Spiritual Laws of Success by Dr. Deepak Chopra, a good friend of Unity on the Bays. Hey, Christina, good to see you. And nice to see you. Yeah, we've had Deepak Chopra at Unity on the Bay 3 or 4 times now. Whenever he comes into town with a new book, he usually calls us and says, hey, I would love to do an event. So it's always fun to dig into his books and see what wisdom he has to share. So let's kick it off tonight with a question for all of you. Do you believe that we have a purpose here on Earth? So when we're born and brought into the planet or onto the planet, do you believe that God has put it in our hearts to have a purpose? Do we have a specific purpose here? So put it in the chat. Do you believe that? Do you not believe that? That's really what this chapter is about tonight. Glenn says, yes, he does believe that we're here and that we have a purpose. Irene, what about you? Wendy, good evening. What do you think about this? Absolutely, Christina says. Do we have a purpose? I'm not going to say what I believe. This is all about what you believe tonight. Yes, love is knowing itself. Wendy says yes. Okay, so we're all in agreement. So the last chapter of Deepak's book, the 7th chapter, the Law of Dharma, or otherwise known as Purpose of Life. So he says here on the first page, everyone has a purpose in life, a unique gift or special talent to give others. And when we blend this unique talent with service to others, we experience the ecstasy and exultation of our own spirit, which is the ultimate goal of all goals. So Deepak does believe that we have a purpose here. It's a God-given purpose. And I'm just going to read a little bit from the beginning of the chapter. So he says, the 7th spiritual law of success is the law of Dharma. Dharma is Sanskrit word that means purpose in life. The law of Dharma says that we have taken manifestation in physical form to fulfill a purpose. The field of pure potentiality is divinity in essence, and the divine takes human form to fulfill a purpose. That's right in alignment with what we believe at Unity, right? We believe that God is in us, that there's a spark of divinity in us. So in a way, we've taken physical form when we come here to Earth. I always found it interesting how we use the word in English when a woman gives birth to a child, we are what? Delivered, right? We are delivered. She's in delivery. So it's like we're being delivered onto this earth, and then our purpose starts, right? Hi, Nancy. Good to see you. Uh, Cindy Binder says, I'm not sure how specific it is, but our purpose is to help all others on the path to enlightenment. So, in other words, I've heard it this way, Cindy, that we're all just walking each other home. I'm sure you've seen that meme of like Jesus and Buddha holding hands, and they're all in, and it says we're just all walking each other home. I think that's what you mean by that, Cindy. Sorry. So Deepak goes on to say, according to this law, you have a unique talent and a unique way of expressing it. I'm going to say that again. According to this law, you have a unique talent and a unique way of expressing it. There is something that you can do better than anyone else in the whole world. And for every unique talent, unique expression of that talent, there are also unique needs. So, what Deepak is saying about that, and if you've been in business or if you're a business owner, one of sort of the pillars of doing good business is finding a need in the marketplace, right? And then fulfilling that need. So, what Deepak is saying is you have this talent, and then there's a need in the world that that talent is needed for. And so, if you find it and you pair your that need with your unique talent, guess what happens? Ecstasy. You're fulfilling your purpose here on the planet. Now, he goes on to say that there are three components to the law of Dharma. So I want to go over those right now. The first component says that each of us is here to discover our true self. If you believe that, put a yes in the comments. So the first component says that each of us is here to discover our true self, to find out on our own that our true self is spiritual. That essentially we are spiritual beings that have taken manifestation in physical form. We believe that at Unity, right? We're not human beings that have occasional spiritual experiences. It's the other way around. We're spiritual beings that have occasional human experiences. Yes, I see a lot of yeses in the comments. Yes. So each of us is here to discover our higher self or our spiritual self. That's the that's the first fulfillment of the law of Dharma. We must find out for ourselves that inside of us is a god or goddess in embryo that wants to be born so that we can express our divinity. So take that in for a second. I mean, it's unity. It's 100% unity, what he's saying, right? There's one power, there's one presence. It's God, it's good. And that presence lives within us, right? And then it's not enough to know that truth, but we have to live it. So, in a way, we're delivered here as God and goddesses to live out that purpose. Okay, so is everybody with me so far? This chapter is not that big, but it's really juicy. It's probably only 10 pages. Yes, Nikki, we are all one. So the second component of the law of Dharma is to express our unique talents. The law of Dharma says that every human being has a unique talent. You have a talent that is unique in its expression, so unique that there's no one else alive on this planet that has that talent or that expression of that talent. Christina says this chapter is deep. Yeah, you could really just chew on this chapter for about a week or two. So let me know in the comments, what do you think your unique talent is? Deepak is saying everybody has their own unique talent. Now, how many billion people are there on the planet? I think last I looked, it was like 8 or 9. I can't remember, but that's a lot of people. 9 billion people. And Deepak is saying that every single one of those people have their own unique talent. So what do you think your unique talent is? Put it in the chat. Awkward silence. Callie Gray, good evening from Seattle. Wendy says, I was put here to help people. Yes, Deepak actually talks more about that in this chapter. Glenn, serving. Mariana, to listen. Isn't that great about listening? Isn't it great when your talent is listening and you meet somebody that's such a good listener? Nikki says, helping others see the good in everything. Cindy Bender, it is a matter of service. Yes. Nancy says, I'm a catalyst. So she's like a starter, like she gets things going. Very good. I'm a very good listener. I love that. All right. So the second component of the law of Dharma is to express our unique talents. Every human being has a unique talent. You have a talent that is unique in its expression, so unique that there's no one else alive on this planet that has the talent or that expression of that talent. This means that there's one thing you can do and one way of doing it that is better than anyone else on this entire planet. When you're doing that one thing, you lose track of time. Does that happen to any of you? When you're doing your purpose, that one thing that you are meant to do and the way that you do it, do you lose track of time? Leo says, unique talent, at least recognizing my own spiritual nature and being able to connect with others' spiritual nature. Yes. Nikki, also helping others find clarity in their situation. That's huge. I mean, that's what therapists do, right? Happiness. Irene says happiness. Unconditional love is unconditional happiness. Love that. Okay, this means that there's one thing you can do and one way of doing it that is better than anyone else on the planet. When you're doing that one thing, you lose track of time. When you're expressing that one unique talent that you possess, or more than one unique talent in many cases, that's awesome. We can have more than one unique talent. The expression of that talent takes you into timeless awareness. So I think it was Steve Jobs, whether you love him or hate him, I think he said that when like you'll never work a day in your life if you're doing what you love. So let's move on to the third component. The third component of the law of Dharma is service to humanity. Now, I remember some of you were saying service. I believe Wendy said it. The third component of law of Dharma is service to humanity, to serve your fellow human beings, and to ask yourself the question, how can I help? How can I help all those that I come into contact with? When you combine the ability to express your unique talent with service to humanity, then you make full use of the law of Dharma. Now, this is what I was talking about. If you want to go into your own business or you want to create something in life that you can get paid handsomely for, you want to combine your talent, but also find a need in the marketplace, in the world that you can fulfill, right? And you pair those two things. Now, a lot of people will say, well, I shouldn't charge for this or whatever. I don't believe that. I mean, I don't think you should gouge people, but I think you should be compensated for your talents. Remember, everybody has a unique talent. I'm not good at building closets. See these closets behind me? I paid somebody to do that. That's very good. That's very meticulous and detail oriented. I didn't expect these closets to be built for free. So let's see, what are people saying here? Nancy, I get lost in meditation. That's great. If you love meditation and it's a talent of yours, then I guess what you're getting at, Nancy, is that it's timeless. It becomes timeless for you. You lose track of the physical world. So when you combine the ability to express your unique talent with a service to humanity, then you make full use of the law of Dharma. And coupled with the experience of your own spirituality, the field of pure potentiality, there's no way you will not have access to unlimited abundance, because that is the real way abundance is achieved. So let me ask you this. Have you ever met someone who is just so happy with what they're doing? You can just tell, it could be a waitress, it could be a janitor, um, and they're just so happy. Do you gravitate towards those people? Do you feel like a natural sense of wanting to give to them, to help them out, let's go back to the waitress. Do you feel like this natural desire to tip more, to go above and beyond? Does that happen to you? Could be a store owner that's just in love with what they do. Put it in the comments. And while you do that, I'm going to see if I can remove this Unity logo from the top of this chat here. 1 second. There we go. So what I'm getting at is when somebody is in alignment with their talent and filling a need in the world, Callie says, it happens to me all the time. There's this natural, I don't even know what it is. It's like, it's a desire within us to support that. And that's what Deepak is saying here. And coupled with the experience of our own spirituality, the field of pure potentiality, there's no way you will not have access to unlimited abundance, because that is the real way abundance is achieved. Synergy. Mariana says, absolutely, it's contagious. Yes, I have a friend that loves what she does. She's a teacher. Yes, it's like we're just drawn to this. It's like, I guess the divine essence is us, and the spark in us is like wanting to give to that almost. I've gone somewhere, like I've gone, I think, to a Denny's where the waitress is just, she makes my day. Like, it's just like, oh my God, she's so amazing. And I end up tipping like 50%. Like, I just want to give to this person, like the experience I had. Like, yeah. Mariam says, I'm a middle school teacher. Bless you. I told you this is a juicy chapter. Let's see what else he says here. So that's the 3 components of the law of Dharma. Again, if you're just joining us, we're talking about the 7 spiritual laws of success by Deepak Chopra. This is the last chapter in the book. Reverend Chris has been covering it for several weeks now. And I believe that Deepak goes on to say, if you want to make maximum use of the law of Dharma, then you have to make several commitments. Hi, Reverend Juan. Hi, Lucas. So who here wants to make commitments? Commitments. We're going into commitments. Okay, so let's see what Deepak says, the commitments you have to make to take full advantage of these laws. All right, the first commitment is, I am going to seek my higher self, which is beyond my ego, through spiritual practice. So that's the first commitment. So that could be meditation, it could be prayer, however you connect to the whole, God. So that's the first commitment. The second commitment is, I am going to discover my unique talents. Now notice there, it's like I am, the power of the I am. I am going to discover my unique talents, and finding my unique talents, I am going to enjoy myself. So it's not about struggling to find this, right? It's not about the endless striving. He says, I am going to enjoy myself, because the process of enjoyment occurs when I go into timeless awareness. That's when I am in a state of bliss. So you're not forcing it, right? The third commitment and the final commitment, if you want to utilize this law completely, is I am going to ask myself how I am best suited to serve humanity. Have you ever asked yourself that? Have you ever sat and said, how am I going to, I'm sorry, how am I best suited to serve humanity? The answer might be to sit on a park bench and say, "Good morning, you're awesome." Like, you just never know, like, what that is for you. But ask the question and be open to the answer. I'm going to use my unique talents to serve the needs of my fellow human beings. I will match those needs to my desire to help and serve others. So he says, sit down and make a list of the answers to these two questions, okay? So when you have time, sit down and make a list of the answers to these two questions. The first one is, ask yourself, if money was no concern and you had all the time and money in the world, what would you do? Would you still do what you're currently doing? So ask yourself, if you had all the time and money in the world, what would you do? And sit and make that list. Does anything come to mind right now? If you had all the time and the money in the world, what would you do? Put it in the chat. Have you ever noticed that you, I don't know if you do this, but I do this. Like, so I have a list of my goals and my dreams and the things I want to achieve. And I'm like, I don't have time to do this, right? But if somebody comes along and needs help with something, like I need you to proof my resume. It's like I have all the time in the world to help that person. Like there's some desire in us to help others, right? So Nikki says, wandering the globe and spreading my enthusiasm for life. Imagine that. Imagine that. Just booking flights wherever. And the whole time, it's just about whoever you connect with, you spread your enthusiasm. Could be on a plane, could be in the airport. I mean, could we use some enthusiasm in the airport? Yes. What about everyone else? Like, if you had all the time and the money in the world, what would you do? If time and money were no object, uh, what would you do? All right. So, the second question that you want to make a list of, how am I best suited to serve humanity? Answer that question and put it into practice. So, as we wrap up self discovery tonight, take those questions. If you do a meditation at night, take those questions into reflection, write them in a journal. Leo says, do mediumship for grieving people, preferably outdoors. I was talking with that about that to somebody the other day, like mediumship. There's people out there that believe in it, and there's people that don't. But some people need closure, right? When a loved one passes, whether it's real or not, I don't know. I don't know if it is or not, but it serves a purpose. There's a need in the world for it, right, Leo? There's people out there that need closure. There's people out there that want to connect to their loved ones who have passed. So that's beautiful, Leo. Christina, I would travel the world and learn about different spiritual cultures. I love that. Christina, a follow-up question. What would you do with that? Like, how would you use that to serve humanity? Nikki, I believe I'm already doing that now with coming into work with a positive attitude and showing that how well I contribute to working together as a team. Yes. It doesn't have to be huge. Coming into work with a positive attitude. Guess what? You're serving humanity. Cynthia. Oh, what I mean, Cindy. I know your name's Cynthia on the chat, but I know you as Cindy. Cindy. Oh, what a great idea. So, again, as we're closing, make sure you take this into reflection. How can you best serve humanity? And what would you do if money and time weren't an issue? And see what comes up with for you. So that's it for Self Discovery tonight. That finishes up this book that Reverend Chris started, um, the seven spiritual laws of success by Deepak Chopra. Um, I think Chris will be back. Reverend Chris will be back next Monday, and he is starting a new book. I'm not sure what book that is, but he's here every Monday night at 6 p.m. Self Discovery. It was great that all of you joined us, and um, that's it. Have a wonderful evening and pick up this book. It's really good. Have a good evening. Bye bye.